Why You Must Listen. Alex stared at the myriad of English learning apps on his phone, a daunting task ahead. He felt completely overwhelmed by the constant stream of advice circulating online about language acquisition. Everyone preached different methods, leaving him utterly confused. His head spun with contradictory instructions and urgent recommendations. It seemed impossible to start anywhere. The internet screamed, "Why you must listen." Alex understood the theory behind passive listening for immersion. He tried hours of podcasts and endless English movies. Yet, the words often washed over him like a distant tide. Retention felt like a mythical beast, always just out of his grasp. Frustration mounted daily. Listen English, listen constantly, gurus proclaimed with evangelical fervor. Alex invested in premium subscriptions and downloaded countless audiobooks. His commute became a silent cinema of English narratives. But the gap between understanding and active recall remained vast. He could comprehend, yet forming his own sentences felt like climbing Everest. Then came the relentless mantra, listen and practice. This was where the real challenge began for Alex. He knew he needed to internalize the sounds and rhythm. Repeating phrases after native speakers felt awkward and forced in his apartment. The self-consciousness was a huge barrier. His progress felt stalled. He desperately searched for how to improve your English, typing the query late into the night. Every search result offered generic tips or expensive courses. Alex craved something tangible, something he could implement immediately without a tutor. The journey felt isolating and incredibly difficult to navigate alone. The popular wisdom insisted on full immersion, relocating to an English-speaking country. This was simply not an option for Alex at the moment. He needed a practical solution right where he was, within his everyday environment. The pressure to speak perfectly paralyzed him before he even began. He heard whispers of start talking at home, a concept that initially sounded bizarre. Who talks to themselves? Alex wondered. It felt slightly ridiculous, almost an admission of desperation. Yet, the idea of a no-judgment zone began to intrigue his weary mind slightly. What did he have to lose? The thought lingered. How to talk at home to yourself. Was it role-playing? Narrating his day? It seemed unconventional, even a little mad. Alex imagined standing in front of his mirror, conversing with his reflection. The sheer awkwardness of the idea made him cringe internally. He had always believed learn English meant memorizing grammar rules and extensive vocabulary lists. Textbooks piled high on his desk, intimidating monuments to his unfulfilled linguistic ambitions. His oral skills remained dormant, locked away behind a wall of theoretical knowledge. He needed a different approach. English talking practice seemed like a distant dream, reserved for confident individuals. Alex envisioned lively debates and seamless conversations. His current reality involved mumbled excuses and avoidance tactics. He longed for that fluency, that effortless expression, but felt so far from it always. There were days when a dark thought crept into his mind. Why you should not learn English, a cynical voice whispered. It felt like an insurmountable climb, a wasted effort with little reward. The sheer mental exhaustion pushed him to the brink of giving up altogether many times. Was it truly necessary for his life path, this relentless pursuit? Doubts gnawed at his resolve like persistent termites. The world seemed to function perfectly well without his perfect English. He questioned the value, the practicality, the very purpose of this arduous linguistic endeavor. This destructive thought, why you should not learn English, often surfaced after a particularly frustrating attempt at conversation. The miscommunications, the blank stares, the inability to articulate his ideas clearly. Each failure chipped away at his dwindling confidence and motivation to persist further. Alex felt isolated in his struggle, convinced he was the only one facing such profound difficulty. Others seemed to pick up languages effortlessly, or so it appeared from afar. This feeling of unique ineptitude fueled his internal battle against continued learning, making it a heavy burden. He nearly surrendered, almost convinced by that negative voice. He considered abandoning his goal, retreating into his comfort zone of native language only. The sheer relief of giving up felt momentarily appealing, but something deep inside still yearned for connection and growth. Then, an old online article resurfaced from his endless research. It spoke not of perfection, but of consistency, not of grand leaps, but tiny steps. It advocated for talk in English just 1 page per day, a concept so simple it almost seemed revolutionary. Could it be true? The article stressed minimum effort, maximum consistency. It wasn't about mastering Shakespeare overnight. It was about touching the language daily, making it a natural part of his routine. A single page. This sounded manageable, utterly unthreatening, a breath of fresh air in his struggle. The author also emphasized the power of start talking at home, without external pressure. This was crucial for Alex. He wouldn't need an audience, no judging eyes, just himself and his thoughts. The idea felt liberating, offering a safe space for practice finally. It was about building a habit, like brushing teeth or making coffee, not about achieving immediate perfection. This subtle shift in perspective transformed his apprehension into curiosity. Maybe this simple approach was the missing piece he desperately needed all along. The article suggested treating his living space as a language laboratory. His kitchen, his bedroom, his bathroom, all became potential venues for linguistic experimentation. The concept of how to talk at home to yourself suddenly held immense appeal, a private sanctuary for growth. Alex began with hesitant whispers. "What am I doing today?" he'd murmur while making breakfast. It felt awkward, yes, but also strangely empowering. He was taking control of his learning in a very personal way. This small act marked a new beginning for him. He described his surroundings aloud. The blue mug sits on the wooden table. Simple sentences, yet each one was a victory. This silent self-narration became his personal training ground for how to talk at home to yourself. He was literally shaping his own voice. He narrated his chores, his plans, even his worries. He stumbled over words, mispronounced others, but nobody was there to judge. This freedom from criticism was invaluable. This pure, unadulterated English talking practice at home was exactly what he needed desperately. Then came the talk in English, just 1 page per day rule. He picked up an easy novel. He read 1 page aloud every morning. His voice cracked, his tongue twisted, but he persevered. The sound of his own voice speaking English was a powerful motivator for him. Sometimes the page felt like a monumental task, other times it flowed. But he never missed a day. The consistency was key. This simple commitment built momentum, slowly but surely transforming his relationship with the language itself, making it more personal and less academic. He started actively combining this with Listen English. He'd listen to a short news segment, then try to summarize it aloud to himself. This integrated approach felt more holistic, connecting input directly to output, truly making him engage with the material deeply. This method of listen and practice involved pausing after sentences, then repeating them, mimicking the intonation. He wasn't just hearing, he was echoing, internalizing the rhythm. It felt like a direct connection to native speakers, a personal coaching session every time. He'd listen to interviews and try to answer the questions himself, as if he were the interviewee. This immersive technique truly brought the language alive. It moved beyond passive reception into active, creative engagement with complex topics and natural discourse. The awkwardness of how to talk at home to yourself slowly faded. It became a natural part of his daily routine, a quiet conversation with himself. He no longer felt foolish. He felt productive, actively shaping his linguistic future one word at a time. His thoughts, once solely in his native tongue, now started to include snippets of English. Simple phrases, then full sentences. He was thinking in English, a monumental breakthrough that signified true internalization of the foreign language. This was genuine progress. The concept of why you must listen now made complete sense. Listening provided the raw material, the blueprint for his own speech. Without quality input, his output would be limited. He finally understood the symbiotic relationship between listening and speaking development. Listen English was no longer a chore, but an adventure. He discovered new podcasts, fascinating documentaries. Every listening session became an opportunity to absorb, to notice nuances, to expand his understanding of how the language truly worked in real contexts. The listen and practice routine felt organic, not forced. It was about playful experimentation, not rigid adherence to rules. He enjoyed trying out new sounds and phrases. This positive approach replaced his previous dread with genuine excitement for learning English. He found himself anticipating his English talking practice sessions. They were no longer a burden, but an enjoyable ritual. He looked forward to exploring new vocabulary, to articulating his thoughts more clearly, and to mastering difficult pronunciations with persistence. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, his confidence began to bloom. The fear of making mistakes diminished as his internal voice grew stronger. He realized mistakes were part of the learning process, not a sign of failure, but a stepping stone to mastery. One day, at a local coffee shop, he overheard a tourist struggling with directions. Without hesitation, Alex stepped in. He offered assistance, and to his astonishment, the words flowed. He was speaking English fluently and naturally in a real-world scenario. This small interaction was a colossal victory. It validated every whispered conversation, every page read aloud. His start talking at home practice had prepared him for this very moment. He finally saw the tangible results of his consistent, daily efforts. He realized then that the initial negative thought, why you should not learn English, was utterly baseless. English wasn't a burden, it was a bridge. It connected him to new people, new cultures, and new opportunities previously unimaginable in his life. His career prospects broadened significantly. English opened doors to international projects and collaborations. He could now confidently participate in global conversations, no longer limited by language barriers. His professional life transformed dramatically, thanks to his dedication. Travel became a richer experience. He could navigate foreign cities with ease, converse with locals, and truly immerse himself in different cultures. The world felt smaller, more accessible, and infinitely more fascinating than before, all due to his language skills. The joy of understanding diverse perspectives, reading foreign literature, and watching films without subtitles was immense. English became a key to a vast treasure trove of knowledge and entertainment. His world expanded far beyond his initial expectations for growth. He even found himself helping others who felt overwhelmed by language learning. He shared his story, his simple methods, emphasizing talk in English just 1 page per day and how to talk at home to yourself. He became an unlikely mentor. He stressed that why you must listen was foundational, but only if paired with active speaking. Listening provided the fuel. Speaking was the engine. Both were indispensable for true fluency, working in tandem to accelerate progress efficiently. His advice was always centered on consistency, not intensity. A little every day was far more effective than cramming once a week. Learn English was a marathon, not a sprint, requiring steady, persistent effort over time for lasting results. He debunked the myth that fluency required living abroad. He was living proof that English talking practice could be cultivated effectively at home, within one's own environment, with dedication and the right simple strategies employed daily. Alex had gone from questioning why you should not learn English to passionately advocating for it. His transformation was complete. The language was no longer an obstacle, but a powerful tool that had enriched every aspect of his existence profoundly. He remembered the daunting feeling of searching how to improve your English. Now, his answer was simple. Start small, be consistent, and talk to yourself. The seemingly crazy idea had become his secret weapon for ultimate linguistic success and confidence. His journey was a testament to the power of routine and self-belief. It wasn't about innate talent. It was about showing up daily and engaging with the language in a low-pressure, personal way. This was the true path to fluency. Every morning, he still picked up his book, still read his page. Every day, he still conversed with himself, narrating his life. These habits, once forced, were now cherished rituals, a testament to his incredible personal growth journey. He continued to listen English intently, always finding new voices, new accents, new ways to expand his understanding. The learning never truly stopped. It simply evolved, becoming a joyful, lifelong pursuit, enriching his mind constantly. The initial struggles faded into distant memory, replaced by the satisfaction of achievement. He had conquered his fear, embraced imperfection, and found his voice in a new language. His linguistic journey was a triumph of perseverance and smart practice. So, if you ever feel that thought creeping in, why you should not learn English, remember Alex's story. Remember that even the smallest step can lead to monumental progress, if taken consistently and with genuine commitment to the process. Why you must listen for input, absolutely. But remember to talk in English just 1 page per day to activate that input. Make it your own, vocalize it, internalize it through active engagement. This balance is critical for growth. Listen and practice daily. How to improve your English starts with you. At home, speaking to yourself. Start talking at home. It's the safest, most effective place for English talking practice. Your living room is your linguistic gym. Learn English, not as a chore, but as an exciting exploration. Embrace the journey, celebrate small wins, and watch as your world expands in ways you never thought possible. Your voice matters, so let it be heard.